Hello, BookTube. I hummed and hawed whether I would make this video or not. I've been getting, since Mark and I did our Friday Reads Live yesterday, I've been getting a number of emails for various topics. I won't mention and I won't dwell on the nasty ones. They just get deleted and bye-bye. But people are concerned about certain things with me. I This is something I guess my age and people my age find it sometimes strange that people do get attached to people, but I can understand that because I do get attached to watching other booktubers, and I haven't really interacted with them much, and concerned about them at times. So I can understand this, but when it's me, I just feel it's a little odd. But right at the beginning, I decided to be truthful about things, and if I was asked a question about something, I would explain it, and especially when with my health condition, long COVID, and everything else, and that's what I'll touch on here as well. And I want to thank everybody who has emailed me directly, because it's part in part for this email that Mark had received, saying that I'm prostituting myself and all this kind of stuff. Wouldn't email me, but it just was a nasty email. And I get at times, that kind of thing. But it was that he was emailed it, and that really got to me mostly. But people have kindly emailed and says, don't let that bother you. And it's the kind of thing that I don't let it bother me much, but I have to admit that it does rankle a little bit. I have to admit it rankles a little bit. Because I just can't. I just wonder how, people, they are living, I guess, a perfect life, I guess, and they don't need to do anything. They've had no hardship in their lives, and I just sort of I pity them, actually, because if anything happens, they're not going to be able to handle it, even something small, because they just won't be able to handle anything. But yeah, I thank everybody for doing this. But also, in the discussion when Steve came on, we were talking about booktube, and I mentioned that I am getting, not that I'm see, it's came out, I think, as me saying that I was getting bored with doing it, and I may not do it much longer. That's not sort of how it is. It's like there is a bit of boredom from what I was doing, I suppose, and I wanted to change things. It's not that I dislike what I was doing and what I'm doing. It's just I feel that I can maybe do something more, and I'm trying to figure out what that is. And no, I have no intention of stopping my channel or anything like that for some reason. Many of you were concerned that I would do this, but no, that's not going to happen. Not consciously, that's for sure. And others were wondering, because I had a lot of sort of ongoing series, like my hours in my library and other ones, and I've stopped that as of January, and Desert Island Books as well. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those, if I'm going to continue with them or not. I suppose if for the hours in my library, I guess it's kind of like getting interesting enough books to show from my library. Is the main sort of thing, but I think there's still lots that I could do. So, do let me know in the comments if there was anything that I was doing as a regular sort of series, in a sense, that you would like me to continue. Because if nobody mentions any, one thing or something like that, then I go, okay, well, my viewers aren't really interested in that. So, and then, if they're ones that aren't very difficult to, like the hours in my library, those were simple ones, and some other ones that were sort of simple that I could continue to do, I think. And I know they didn't get very big or huge number of views, but that's not the reason why did them. Because if I wanted views, I would be doing something completely different for sure. Uh, you know, um, but yeah, so do let me know there at the bottom. And then people are concerned too about my health, and yeah, my health. It's as I'm sure many of you know already, it's long COVID that I've had for. I had COVID after having a heart attack scare in 2021 at the end of January. So I got COVID while I was in the hospital, and then I'd never really recovered fully from it. And it's affected many things of me. I can't go out. I can't walk very far. It's very difficult. I need to be able to get in a taxi to go somewhere. But that's, well, anyway, we'll get to that. Like it's very difficult. I can only walk a certain distance without basically collapsing because of the weakness. And it's affected other things. It's affected probably my allergies for breathing, and it's affected my thyroid gland. So, and I'm on some medication for that, and that might be helping a little bit. So there's good news there, but I'm hesitant to say that yet because there's always peaks and troughs with this thing. After 2 years, I sort of realized that there's periods that I'm sort of like this, and then there's a period that I'm pretty good, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's like this, and then it takes a while to get back to the even keel. So yeah, so at the moment things are pretty good, I would say, because but I did have a health scare because there's a few people I think that are new that didn't realize I had a breathing difficulty problem that I was taken to the hospital, and it was severe. Let's just put it that way. It was very severe. And it was probably due to allergies. Well, I'm 100% sure with perfumes and things like that I'm allergic to. And as a result of that, with the nebulizer, the salbutamol or Ventolin, whatever it's called, caused blindness in my left eye because I've had shingles twice in my left eye. And that is a known thing, and thankfully, knock on wood, it came back a couple of weeks ago. Thankfully, it took a few days for it to clear up fully, but the sight is back. So yeah, and the thing about walking, because I want to be able to get out to go somewhere, and somebody did ask, because this did come up one other time, and I made a couple aborted attempts at this, but I don't need to go into the details of that, because I need to be able to go somewhere where I can actually walk and then sit down. And there is a place like that, but it's a taxi ride there and a taxi ride back. See, the first time I went, the whole road was closed. There was an accident. It was closed from the beginning to end. And then, yeah, it was just a shambles to begin with. And then I started feeling bad again. So it's like, and then the cold weather and everything like that. So wintertime was, the autumn and the wintertime was not a good time to even think about doing this. That was just bad planning on my part completely. So, but this thing, and it's like, and people are concerned, like, no, I'm not starving to death, obviously. I'm a master at, reducing costs for a living. So there's a lot of things that I go without because I don't need them. So it's reduced my costs. So most of my money, or all of it pretty well, is rent and then food. And food is a bit of a problematic thing for me. Because people were asking me about my food and everything too, because I can't get out to get food, so I can't get out to do this. because of the cost. Well, it's just, there's two things: the cost of the taxi to get there, and then to be able to stand up long enough in a shop to get food and then pay for it and then come out. It wouldn't happen. So, and I don't have anybody to do that for me. So, thankfully, here in the UK, there are delivery of groceries. The larger companies, well, almost everybody now, you can get, if I want something at 3 a.m. and I wanted something, I could pay enough for it and get somebody to pick that up. I think there's that kind of service. But the thing is, they can get stuff brought in. The problem now is that prices are continuing going up. Everybody knows this, and it's even worse than it was last autumn. And the other thing is, you order something and it doesn't show up because they're out of stock of it. Or even while I'm creating the order during the week, things disappear and it just it just saying it's no longer available. So I have to replace it with something else. But even when it says it's available, it doesn't show up. So I get a refund for that, which is fine. But then, there's a minimum to order with, and that minimum is too much usually for me to make a subsequent order because there's not that much missing. It's usually, like 3 or 4 items or something like that, or 5 items maybe at the most. But we're not talking a huge amount of money here. We're talking a small amount. So, and then I don't have enough to add on to that to get something else. But anyway, as I say, I'm just trying, because in my emails, I've received, a number of emails asking me about what my situation is. So this is, and I'm not, this is not a, it is sort of, the violin thing, but it's, I take it in stride because there's not, you just deal with what you got. And I got to deal with that as well all the time. So yeah, so there's things that I can't get. Like, here's, for instance, my birthday's coming up on the 1st of April. I had made my grocery order, and I thought, I don't eat cake very often, but I get myself a little cake. No, it didn't come. So yeah, I got refunded for it, but I can't get it again because I need to, add 3 times that amount of money to make another order, and I don't get it, and I don't have that, and I don't have anything else. So, what I do is, because what gives me pleasure is books, or Blu-rays and things like that. So the little bit of money that I got refunded, I bought some books. And because I try to have a monthly budget of approximately £20 to £25 to buy a book or a number of books, for and try to do things that I'm currently reading, not things that I want to just collect. These are things that I'm currently reading or want to read next month, or the month before, or the month after, sorry. So that's what I do that. So, and then, like, this time I bought a couple other things. I bought a couple of biographies I bought a biography of Zola, really cheap, of not Stendhal. I already got a biography of Stendhal. Flaubert by the same author. So I got those. They're really cheap, like £5 something for 2 of them. They're rough, but yeah, they're readable. And then also too, I'm going to well, anyway, I don't need to go into the details of exactly what I spent for. Sorry. But yeah, so that's sort of the way it is. And then somebody's saying, "Oh, well, don't I have a Patreon? Isn't that helping out?" And I'm going, "Yeah, that does help, because you see, this is where the Patreon helps a little bit, because it allows me. I've got a book club on there, and most of the time I try to select books that I have, but not all the time. So I give a choice, and then sometimes I don't have the book that is chosen, so I need to buy it. So I use that fee for that. But also there is a little bit left over, and that's where this thing where I said, you can pay to get something at 3 a.m. Well, there is a little bit enough money there that meets the minimum for something else for at the beginning of the month, that I can get a few things like some milk, some bread, or just a few things that I needed. And I've got like about 25 to 30 pounds there to play with. and so I order a little more food with that. So yeah. So anyway, it's you know, it is tight. So and for me to do this kind of thing or the ad thing, you know, I get a little bit every 3 to 4 months. I get ad revenue from from YouTube. So I have to wait to that length. You know, it has to be a minimum of 60 pounds. So some, you know, some months I don't quite make that to add up to 60 pounds in 3 months. So I have to go on to the fourth month. And yeah, that will allow me, that gets me a little more food that month if I want to. Or the last time I did that, it allowed me to buy some socks. Yes, I bought some socks and some underwear before that. Yeah. So this is how I plan out my months ahead, because I know that if something's coming in, I can do this. Um, so yeah, so that's the state of things. I'm not destitute yet, but no, I'm not destitute. You know, I am getting enough food. You know, I am hoping to get to a situation where, and hopefully by autumn anyway, that I can do a little more food wise, but also with starting either getting more money through somehow. Um, well, like there's other programs that I can possibly tap into here, but for the food. So I want to be able to move at some point. Going back to the breathing issue, I live in a shared house, and there's people that don't care. Literally, they don't care whether they spray something and all this kind of stuff in general. And they'll forget because it's not on their minds. So, and this can happen again, and it's getting worse because of the COVID. So the only way, I can't stop them from doing that. That that is not possible. The only thing that I can do, the only possible thing, is to move. Now that's not easy to do. So that was the other thing that I was asked about, because I will be hopefully at some. Oh, I'm giving myself a time frame of 2 to 3 years to be able to raise enough money for moving. And which is a big deal, because I'll have to go somewhere either far north or into Wales or something like this. So I have to go. Well, when I say far, we're talking, you know, several hundred miles from where I am. So it's, you know, I've got a couple choices. I need to have enough money to move my books, or I get rid of all my books and just carry my clothing, and that's it, which I could easily do in one bag. But then I don't have anything for my pleasure, or, you know, this is my only pleasure, is the books and the Blu-ray. So I do want to take them. So I need to be able to do that. So I'm giving myself that length of time, because I know that will pass regardless. You know, so I that's my end game for this, and move somewhere where it's cheaper, rent first of all, and a bit more isolated, where there's no people immediately, like that are, when I open my door and walk out, I don't have other people in that area that could be spraying perfume or anything else. So and then hopefully more space as well, to have a little more space for my book, so I can spread out a little more. And but yeah, so that's the state of life, the universe, and everything for Shawn at the moment. And so I do thank everybody that have you know, emailed me and is concerned, sort of saying that, you know, I'm okay, things are okay now. But again, if anybody wants to help out with anything, immediate things, or, you know, I might have something in the future once, you know, I know that I can do the move, and it's not happening very quickly, or, you know, down the line, you know, that might happen, you know, and ask for help, you know, for that. But that's in the future. That's down the road a little ways. But if you want to help out immediately with things, you know, then feel free, you know, and yes, and if that's what somebody wants to call it, is me prostituting myself to ask for help in any way. I'm not asking for help, but it's saying that if you want to help, the opportunity's there. My PayPal is there, to do something like that. Um, and yeah, and it's but I know it's tight for everybody. It's difficult for everybody. There's a lot of other causes. There's a lot of other things that are taking people's time and money. So that's why I say but it's if you want to, the opportunity's there. Well, not the opportunity. The way of doing that is down below in my in the description here. So again, I've been prattling on now for 20 minutes, so we will call it a day here for this. So I do apologize. Thanks for everybody again for emailing in, and thank you for your concerns, and thank you for watching this long. Bye, BookTube.